Stannis Baratheon claims to be the one true king, but are his forces strong enough to take Westeros? Well, he'll need some help. Right now, let's take time to review A Song of Ice and Fire miniatures game, Baratheon Heroes 1. And so in order to do this review, I feel like I'm going to need to do some lore. And in some of that, I'm going to have to probably examine a few things about A Song of Ice and Fire that maybe say something about the story. So a lot of people stand behind Stannis and think he probably is the one true king, etc., etc. And, you know, he does have the best claim to the throne. He is the older brother. He sat at Dragonstone. He had the rightful claim to the throne after it was believed that Joffrey was illegitimate, which he was, but that's beside the point. However, his brother Renly decided, no, I'm the king. I am at Storm's End. I am the one. So this led the brothers into a conflict, and although the conflict ends quickly, I thought it would have been a little more interesting to possibly drag that out and make it a bigger thing. Instead, it ends very, very quick. It's almost like Stannis goes to Renly and says, hey, you know, I'm the king. You should follow me. Renly says, no, I won't. And then, well, basically Stannis kills him. So, that's another thing about A Song of Ice and Fire. If you look through it, I mean, really, you can kind of see things coming. It's like, you knew Joffrey was going to get his comeuppance at some point, and he does. Very much so. How is a bit of a surprise, but he got it. And let's just face it, Robb's mom told him not to cross Walder Frey, because she knew Walder. And he crossed him anyway. We all should have realized that that was going to end badly for Robb. And it did. I thought it at the time. I was like, this is going to be bad. This is going to end pretty bad for Robb. And Robb definitely had one of the worst deaths in this entire story. So I'm looking at the way Martin shapes his stories. And here you have Stannis. He kills his brother. Now some say he didn't directly kill his brother. It was actually Melisandre, which I'll get to in just a second. But still, he killed his brother, and kingslaying is a big deal in Westeros. And for one, I'm really surprised it never got brought up again. In the entire story, it's not been brought up again. Save for Brienne a little bit, but not even quite as much as anybody else. I'm surprised no one tried to spread rumors about it or bring it to anyone's attention. I kind of scratched my head about that in the books. Still, though, in the show, Stannis ends up burning his daughter alive, which made him the most hated man on television for a while, which really surprised me considering Joffrey was on that show. And why did all the hatred go to Stannis suddenly? It's just weird to me. But still, I get a feeling there's a bad end for Stannis. Now, we have a secondhand account that Stannis already has met his end, but we don't know that yet. We're still waiting for When's a Winner forever, and we won't know when Stannis truly met his end until that book. There's a lot of theories that Stannis might have faked his death, but then again, why would he? He's not the kind of guy for subterfuge, so that might not be something. Maybe someone else came up with the idea to fake his death. So, there's that. But I have a feeling Stannis is headed for a bad end in one way or another. And his quest for the Iron Throne is going to be fruitless. He's just not going to make it. And he will be the end of the battle of the War of the Five Kings, and that will be the end of that war. And then a new war's going to come up, probably with Dany and the Dance of Dragons, or the Winds of Winter, or something. But I'm not here to talk about the lore of A Song of Ice and Fire as much as I like to. I am here to talk about this miniatures game, which is a lot of fun, and I enjoyed a great deal. Now, I do think the Stannis Baratheon army is a bit weak. There have been a few tweaks lately, and that has helped things out a lot, but still, I can't think of a time I ever won playing with Stannis' forces, and I can't think of a time I have not beaten Stannis' forces with any army. I'm sure it's possible. The cavalry in Baratheons is pretty darn good. That is one of their shining graces, but the rest of them, they're not quite as strong as I would expect. They got good armor, they hit good, but they're just not quite there. But it could be the way I'm playing them, and preconceived notion that Stannis, is going to have a bad end no matter what. I can't say for certain. So let's take a look at this box set of heroes from Stannis' side and see if maybe there's some things that can possibly enhance his forces. So to start off with, we have Davos Seaworth, who I really loved in the show. I thought he was played brilliantly. Until the final season, of course, and then all of a sudden he just forgot everything. And he has a attachment card and a commander card. And the commander card allows you to outflank with a unit, and it ignores dangerous, hindering, and rough keywords. So, and I don't think that's been tweaked. I'm going off of the latest, what I believe is the latest update of the app. Sorry, got tongue-tied there. And of course, his attachment card has the has the title Onion Knight because, he sucks at combat. That's his own word, so I don't feel bad about that. I really like the sculpt, though. It's different from the TV show, of course, but so is Davos. Overall, I would give it about a 4.5 stars just for sculpt. It's a nice figure, looks good. It is the guy who it is. Davos Seaworth also has a NCU. It's a pretty good one. He helps you to reroll charge distance dice. That's a pretty decent power. I mean, Davos, honestly, I could see him being an NCU more so than a combatant. So, especially with his Onion Knight situation. So, that works for me. Beside of him is his son, Devon Seaworth. He just has an attachment and has a strange power, reckless heroism. The unit will suffer D3 wounds, but counts as rolling a 6 for any charge on distance dice. Now that could work out for one of those that have to the last or something like that. I mean, with essentially immortal units, that could work out. And then you may reroll attack dice on any unit that has more ranks than you. So that is not a bad thing to have. So another commander is Andrew Eastermont, who I don't remember very much from the books. Not going to get into it this time. He also has True Conviction. Same thing as Devon. The King's Men, which helps you with a tactics card. So that's not bad. That's as his commander. As his attachment, also True Conviction, has an order that gets vicious and rolls its highest attack dice. So another good one that you can see working out pretty well. As far as the figure goes, I'm going to give it 4.5 stars. I like it. It's a good figure. It's pretty neat, and pretty decent. Another commander in Axel Florent, first of the Queen's Men. He has an intimidating presence, stalwart, and loyalty to Stannis, and has a R'hllor affiliation, so that's always a plus when you're doing a R'hllor army. Now, Axel's attachment also gives him that affiliation of R'hllor unit and zealous fanaticism. Again, gives you vicious, not bad to have around if you need it, and intimidating presence. Axel Florent also has an NCU unit. He has influence, which of course you control certain sections of the board, you get extra bonuses depending on which one you hold. Again, another nice one to have just in case. Now we move on to Melisandre, the Red Woman, who I'm gonna dip in the lore a little bit here. I'm a little suspicious of. I'm gonna be honest about it. I am suspicious of Melisandre. I don't know why. I think there's the scene where she sees Bran with a wolf's head as being the enemy. That's kind of where I'm going, wait a minute, what? Because Bran obviously is not the enemy. Now, there's just a lot of speculation about Three-Eyed Raven, etc., etc. So, again, that might be settled in Winds of Winter, but for some reason, I'm not trusting Melisandre. I just think she's up to something. That's in the books. Of course, in the show, she's ends up, saving the day, blah, blah, blah. So we'll not get into that. So she has influence, and she makes them do 2 wounds and a panic test, then they can pick a combat unit that suffers a panic test with a -2 and gets an additional -2 to the failure. So yeah, again, that's Melisandre. She sacrifices a lot, and that makes me wonder about her. What's her deal? She's kind of a fanatic, but that also fits her character, so and as far as sculpt, I'll give it 5 stars. It's a great sculpt. I heard of some people having a flat-faced one. I don't think I have that here. It looks like a regular face to me. So, obviously when she's painted up, though, she's going to be pretty obvious who she is. So, not a lot of opportunities to use her as anything else, but hey, still a nice sculpt. So you have Selyse and Shireen as an NCU, which is pretty cool. That's a great way to have both of them in the game. If they have influence, if they're influencing a unit, they gave them +1 morale. And so also they have a really neat power. Necessary sacrifice. If a friendly unit would be destroyed, you can destroy them, and that unit comes back with D3 wounds and is considered a R'hllor unit. Interesting. Wonder if that's hinting at things to come or not. So that's something. And of course, you have Stannis Baratheon as a commander. With all the changes and everything, I haven't really looked at this one very closely to see the difference between the 2 versions of Stannis. I believe the restoring 1 wound is new to this one, and I thought he had the +1 panic test. I might be wrong on that. And of course, he's a R'hllor unit, so there's that too. And again, I wasn't too keen on having 2 commander versions of Stannis out right away, but then again, I haven't sat down and compared the 2 either. Again, I don't play Baratheon very often. I just sort of have them as around for playtesting, most of them, if I'm perfectly honest. Part of that's because they've just been so slow to build up the Baratheons. I mean, they built up the Targaryens have finally come into their own. The Baratheons are still kind of languishing. They're getting a few units finally, but gosh, it has taken a long time for both the sub-factions to really build up and be something. Stannis is probably further along than Renly at this point. Renly, unfortunately, well, we know that. And I'll talk about that when I do the Baratheon Heroes too, but I didn't give a rating on the figures. I'm sorry, Sharice and Serene I'll give 4 stars to. Stannis I'll give 5. That's a good sculpt. I like it a lot. So there we go. That's the whole set. I would give it about 4.5 stars. It's a pretty decent set. Even if you're just buying for the miniatures, it's decent. I mean, it's good for gameplay too. Obviously, you need to expand your forces with Stannis, so it's not bad to have some extra stuff going on. I have not play tested any of this yet, so that's another one with me. It's this set was kind of stuck in the pre-order with the Night Watch 2 that I waited over a year for, and I'll know, I've learned my lesson on pre-orders on that one. But so yeah, these are mostly new to me, so that's another thing. I will have to sit down and kind of play these out and see what's going on. Don't get to play as much as I want though, so that's going to take a while. But anyway, that is my review of Baratheon Heroes 1. Stay tuned for Baratheon Heroes 2. Ooh. And don't forget to like and subscribe.